Hello my spooky friends. Today I have my October TBR and there are quite a few books in my TBR. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe there's 8 books in my TBR, so hopefully I'm able to finish all of them because I'm hoping to be able to read more books after I finish what's on my list, my to-read list. And after I'm finished telling you what books I'm going to be reading this month, I'm going to take out this handy dandy candy dish with some spooky looking creatures in there, and some of them have words on them, and I'm going to draw from there and have a game of chance, and whatever I pull out I have to pick off a spooky related book off the shelf. So that will be what I add to my list if I finish these, so it's almost like a prize for finishing my to-read list. So let's go ahead and get started. Without further ado, here is my October spooky TBR. The first book I have on the list, of course, I have to make the first one a Stephen King book because he is the king of horror, as some know him, and I have to agree because his horror fiction is so delicious and so creepy, and you just can't go wrong with a Stephen King book in October. This particular book is called Dreamcatcher. I've never read it, which is shocking. There's actually another Stephen King book on the list that I have never read, but I've seen both of the adaptations of them, and I'm just surprised that they have not made it onto any of my TBRs. But I'm finally going to tackle these, and this one is quite the beast, as you can see. I believe there is... It's not too bad for a Stephen King book. I think there's a little over 600 pages, so I should be able to finish this one. I'm trying to read a little bit quicker than I've been doing lately, so hopefully I can get through this one pretty quickly. I'm thinking of saving it till midway through the month just to be safe. I don't want to do it at the end of the month because then, I don't know, maybe I will do it at the end of the month. I'm not sure yet. But this one I actually got at a thrift store, one of my favorite thrift stores in North Hollywood. It's called the Iliad, and they always have these awesome books. There's actually quite a few Stephen King books, so that's why I got 2 on that same day. It was hard to choose, and these are the 2 I went with because they're 2 of my favorite adaptations. You'll see the other one in a second. The first one is Dreamcatcher, and if you haven't seen Dreamcatcher, I'll read you a little bit of the synopsis. It says, once upon a time in the haunted city of Derry, which we all know a lot of his stories are centered around the haunted city of Derry. There's 4 boys, and they have a brotherhood and they do things together. This says, certainly a good thing, perhaps even a great thing. Something that changed them in ways they could never begin to understand. So it's already mysterious. This is a very mysterious story. I remember watching the movie and thinking, where is this going to go? So I can't wait to see if the book is the same. And also the movie was very gory, so I'm hoping there's some good gore in here, some good creepiness. My next book is not the other Stephen King one. It is a James Patterson Presents book, which I haven't went wrong with any of his Patterson Present books yet. All of them have been pretty good, so I have high hopes for this one. And on the cover it already looks pretty spooky. Says, be careful what stories you tell around the fire. Something about it reminds me of when I was younger, and there was Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was pretty good. It was always good during the October months to watch on TV. So yeah, this one apparently Takes place around a campfire, which is definitely spooky. It says, while camping in a remote location, Maddie Davenport gathers with her friends and family around the fire to tell scary stories. Caleb, the handsome young guide, shares the legend of the mountain men who hunt down unsuspecting campers and carve grisly antlers into their victims' foreheads. I mean, that's quite disturbing. So, I know this is a young adult fiction. I'm kind of wondering how creepy it's going to get because, I mean, young adult fiction has been getting a little bit more disturbing. So, I think it's going to be disturbing. And this one's really short, so I might read it next. I'm kind of in the mood for something a little bit shorter right now. I've been reading a lot of longer books, but this one's very short. Look at that cover. It looks nice and scary. Now, we have this book, which I've been wanting to read. I've had it on my shelf for a couple years now. Not sure why. I always run out of time to read it. Every October, I put it on the list. It's Emma in the Night. Trying to add more adult mystery, thriller type stuff. This one is a psychological thriller. Already on the cover, it's pretty haunting looking, and I'm assuming someone is gonna get murdered, it seems like. I don't really like reading synopsis too much because I want to just be surprised, but I read a little bit, and this one says, one night, 15-year-old Cass and her 17-year-old sister, Emma, disappear. The family car is found deserted at a nearby beach, but the authorities are baffled by what could have become of them. So I don't know if they were murdered, I don't know if they just disappeared, kidnapped, whatever it is, but I can't wait to find out. Now, the next book is from another queen of horror, which is Anne Rice, and I've only really read one of her books, which was Interview with a Vampire, and I really like that, and I really like the movie adaptation of it. This one is Servant of the Bones, which I already read the synopsis of this one because I was curious, like, is it any different from her other books? So this one does sound quite different from her other books, which feature vampires and witches. And it even says in here that having created fantastic universes of vampires and witches, having chronicled the exploits of Lestat and Mayfairs, she carries us now into new realms of the occult. So, I feel like I'm going to like this a lot. It'll be cool to have a story of Azrael, and I think it's going to probably be pretty horrific, some things that happen in this book, and I don't think it's going to be necessarily a horror read, but maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure. Hopefully it has some scary aspects to it, but if not, it at least has those dark and gloomy vibes. Next, I have the other Stephen King book, which, if you cannot tell from the cover, this is Firestarter, and I really like this movie, so I'm hoping I will like this book, but I feel like this is going to be one of his classic horrors that are just really, really good and make you think, because I feel like his books tend to do that. That's why I always compare Neil Shusterman to him, because I feel like his books do the same thing. They're kind of terrifying and scary, and they really go there into a place where people are uncomfortable with, and I think this is going to be one of those books, and I'm very excited to read it. It's not that big, so it should be a quick read. The letters are kind of small, but I still think it's going to be pretty fast of a read, and I also got this from my favorite thrift store, the Iliad, and I like how it looks used. Just like that used look, it adds to the ambiance of the novel. I'm on to this book, which I got a couple of years ago. This is The Darkest Part of the Woods by Ramsey Campbell, and this is pegged as a dark fantasy. Some people have compared to Lovecraft. Some people have compared to Clive Barker. So I think it's going to be kind of like a gothic-y, creepy, dark read with some fantasy elements. It says, let's see, it says, Campbell introduces readers to the Price family whose lives have for decades been snarled with the fate of the ancient forest of Goodmanswood. Here, Dr. Lennox Price discovered a hallucinogenic moss that quickly became the focus of a cult. So it just seems like it's going to be kind of dark and moody, and also something that's going to mess with your mind. So I'm really excited for that one. Okay, I've got 2 more books to go. The next one I am already reading, and I love it so far. It's called The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. And this one, I don't want to give too much away, but it's been compared to Pan's Labyrinth. It's definitely a horror so far, and it's definitely got some creepy parts to it. There are creatures in this one. There are things going on that it's kind of confusing, and you're like, is that actually happening? Is it not happening? Is it all in their heads? So I don't know where this one's going to go. I'm about halfway through it, and my brain's already like, but a good, like, it's a really good brain teaser, I feel like. And it's really spooky, and it's got this nice little, like, backstory to it. This girl, she ends up going to help her uncle who is ill, and he gets sick, and he has to go away, so she has to take care of his museum that he owns, his museum of weird things. So there's already a weird vibe at the beginning, and it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder, and I love it. It's such a twisted book, and I can't wait to see what the ending is going to be. And I highly recommend you pick this one up because it's so good. I believe it comes out October 8th. It's probably already out by the time you see this, so you need to buy it. No excuses. This is the last one actually on my list, and this is the Unspoken, and this is kind of, I guess, a thriller. Yeah, I would say it's a thriller and a crime novel. This former Chicago detective, Ash Kane, is desperate for redemption after refusing to participate in a police department cover-up. So that's basically all you need to know. He turns his life into finding justice for people, and he is a private investigator, and yeah, I find that pretty intriguing. I really can't wait to get to this one, so I'll probably read it soon. It's pretty small, so it should be a quick read, and I've heard nothing but good things from it, so I'm very excited to read this one. It says on the bottom it's Ash Kane novel, so I think maybe it's going to be a series, or it already is. It's by Ian K. Smith, and I'm very excited to read this one. And if you guys haven't gotten it yet and you like crime thriller type books, then this is probably a good thing to read right now. So now I've come to the end of the video where I'm going to randomly choose out of my spooky candy dish. So let's go ahead and pick the first one. And I've put random things on here to help me choose. So let's see. I think I'm going to go with the centipede. It's a reread. So, a reread, I have to pick something that I've read before. Let's see what we got. It's actually perfect. I think what I'm going to choose is Unwind, because I've been talking about this book a lot lately, and I'm probably going to have it in my second video actually as a recommendation for you guys for October. It says the Second Civil War was fought over reproductive rights. The chilling resolution: life is conception until age 13. Between the ages of 13 and 18, however, parents can have their child unwound. So that's all you need to know about this one. It deals a lot with that topic of abortion. Basically, civilization has figured out the answer to that. The kids can be unwound between the ages of 13 and 18. I think I want to grab this guy right here. Dystopian. Interesting. I think I know which one to go for, but let me think for a second. Dystopian. Yes. So for dystopian, I am gonna go for this one, which I've never read. It's Wool by Hugh Howey, and I've always wanted to read this one. I got this one in San Francisco when we went there at a cool independent bookstore, and I just saw it and was like, oh, I've always wanted to read that. It says, Wool is frightening, fascinating, and addictive. In one word, terrific. This is Jules' story. This is the world of Wool. What would you do in the world outside if the world outside was deadly and the air you breathe could kill, and you lived in a place where every birth required a death, and the choices you made could save lives or destroy them? I find that very interesting, and I love this cover. It's kind of gory and creepy, and this looks like a pretty thick book, so I have a feeling I'm going to be reading this one in November, actually, but I'm really excited to add this one to my list. So that is the end of my video. Now you know what I'm going to be reading in October. If you would like to tell me what you're going to be reading in October, put it down below. Let me know. I love to find out what people are going to read, and sometimes, most of the times, I add it to my list, to my ever-growing TBR shelf, which keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's gotten so much bigger that I have to have a little cart too. So if you want to give me some suggestions, especially spooky ones, because I love dystopian and horror and suspense. Other than that, please follow and like this video. It's my first video, so I'm super excited, and I'm glad that my first video could be on something that I really enjoy, which is horror and October and Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody, and happy October. Hopefully everybody has a good one and enjoys all the fun festivities. Bye!